Hey everyone, Ansugren here. Hope everyone's doing well. Today, I wanted to talk a bit about a topic that I've broached with someone else just a few days ago. And it's, let's call it tech fatigue. So, what is tech fatigue? Ever thought to yourself, let's start actually with the older generations here. Those who were, those who have known the 20th century still, right? The 90s, 80s, 70s, maybe the 60s, maybe the 50s. Remember those days when you left the house, you just left the house. Remember those days when you could be walking the streets or the forest or whatever it is, and the people at home just figured, oh yeah, he or she is gone for a few hours for the day, whatever. And then the 2000s broke, and there was this new mobile invention. You know, there was a static version that everyone had in his or her house in the 20th century, but in the 21st, suddenly we had portable phones. I remember that hype. I'm old enough for it. And yeah, people were amazed. It's like, wow, this is really practical. I can keep contact better with other people around me. That's how it began. And then, around the early 2000s, I mean. Around the early 2000s. And then, sometime later, not even 10 years, something happened in society. Now you were able to play games on these portable phones. You were able to access the internet on these phones. You were able to who knows what else with these things. And it became even more popular. People started spending more on something that everyone basically already had. Those phones, those mobile phones of the 2000s, they were durable too. I know some people who have never really fallen for, who are just not the kind of people who follow trends. They just live life by their own rhythm, not society's rhythm. Still have some of those phones. You know why? It's because they're durable. Now, that's not a commercial to say, oh, in the 2000s everything is automatically better. But where I'm going with this is, and some might already have guessed this, so people started spending more on this. It became trendy to keep buying new types. Doesn't matter they were less durable or are less durable. And the entire purpose of just doing quick phone calls is completely eradicated. Now they became addicting little tools that you can take with you wherever you want. Like a drunkard who has a barrel strapped on his back. Like a heroin addict with I don't know how you ingest that stuff. Is it injections? Who is like a needle that keeps refilling, or that you can refill very easily at every possible venue that you go. And I'm not really going to go too much into the addiction part of it, at least not now. But the exhaustion that I see in people, and they do not necessarily even realize it. Your brain is constantly fired up when you're playing with these things, toggling away. And these days, when you leave the house, people don't accept that anymore. Your boss at work doesn't accept it anymore. Why didn't you pick up the phone? If you get a penny for every time you heard that in your life, how many of us would be quite wealthy, let's say. Hmm? What do you think? Have you heard it before? I have. I was only away for like 30 minutes just a few days ago, and I had received a phone call. I called back, wondering what was up, and this person that called me was a bit upset with me because this person thought I had misplaced something, and whether I did or not, I mean, let's pretend I did. Even if I did so, this person was upset with me. First, because the assumption I put something wrong, which may or may not have been true. Second, the person was angry was because why didn't I pick up the phone immediately? And that's one of the things that prompted me to make this video. You're not alone anymore, wherever you go. A bit of peace, a bit of me time as they call it in some circles. It's just gone. Because even if you leave your phone at home, why didn't you pick up the phone? Well, I left it at home. But why did you leave it at home? Because I wanted to be myself. Why would you want to be by yourself? Don't you know there's things to do? There's work to be done. There's people that need your attention for whatever it's going to be. I mean, what is happening to us? I mean, maybe some people are more lucky in that. Maybe I'm one of those who simply isn't. But I do know that a lot of people that I talk with are confronted by this. And everyone is so exhausted by it too. Whether they admit it or not. Where do you think all those depressions come from? It's from these little things like this. And society has brought it to a point that you're just assumed to have these portable phones all the time with you. Your boss needs to be able to call you in the midst of a Sunday when you're having a barbecue with your family or whatever it's going to be. Your spouse needs to be able to call you when he or she thinks that you're, I don't know, you put a pan somewhere wrong in the kitchen and this is for some reason a big drama, and blah 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 blah. And of course it doesn't stop with portable phones, does it now? How many technological stuff do you have in your house? Do you need to deal with daily that keeps breaking down? That requires you to pay bills for it as well, even if it's just electrical bills? And a few things that you should be able to take your time in, like preparing a well-rounded, healthy meal. That's the moments where we rush. 2 minutes in the microwave, boom. For a plate of sludge. Just to fill your growling stomach with. Not even really to sustain your body with some necessary energy of whichever kind you need it. It seems to me that all the important things are starting to be swept away. The things that actually keep us sane and healthy. Why? Because there are greedy people out there with a sense, who are quite the control freaks, who demand more and more of the regular man and woman, that he or she becomes more and more of a unit to serve their personal lust for power, money, whatever it's going to be. Aren't you quite sick of it too? I am. These days with all this virus stuff, you see in a lot of stores also these sort of mechanical pumps. Like you hold your hands underneath like an eye of a kind, a mechanical, technological eye. And you need to you need to sanitize your hands with that stuff, or you're not allowed in the store or whatever it's going to be, or you can be held accountable if you don't do it, if something happens to someone. Which is also a lot of fun, isn't it, guys? Can't even go anywhere anymore in a way you want to. Because now you're blamed. Now you're blamed for the deaths or the hurt of people that you have nothing to do with. Remember that these same people created the society we live in, where you need to go to a store and most people don't have their own farm. And now these same people are gonna tell us, basically, oh yeah, do it via that machine or we hold you accountable for someone else being hurt from this virus that was imported from another part of the world. Isn't that rich? Isn't that exhausting? Shouldn't that anger a few more people than it does right now? The damn being forced to cover our faces. And because people because of the exhaustion, because people don't have the energy to fight, to stand up for themselves. They just tend to surrender. Those who do not outright give in to fear, because they have completely accepted that they should be these units for this high-tech society, which is unsustainable. I mean, we're not even talking here about, most people talk about the sustainability of this society because the earth is running out of materials itself, which is valid. I leave that even in the middle here. What about just human energy? What about spiritual and mental health? What about physical health? It's unsustainable on that level. I'm forced to partake in all of it as much as anyone else. And I do say forced. Yet I never opted to be in a society like this. Other people decided that before I was born. And they're should I say descendants? Or just those who have the same talent for greed? Who want to follow in the footsteps of those who decided that before, who want to perpetuate this nonsense because it suits them and they don't care if it's at the cost of anyone else. They like to pretend to, because that's how they appeal to the common people, the normal people, these abnormal, greedy, money grubbing. Yeah, I'm not gonna continue there. I think you can estimate how much I like those types. I guess I'm also a little bit all over the place, but we are made more and more dependent on all of this technology. Partially because we are ourselves been so naive to start partaking in it. Yes, it has its values. Yes, it can be useful. But is its usefulness usually also not in the purpose of the society that is exhausting us to death? Many more people do need to get hurt, really. I mean, also these, like, when I started making these videos was just before they put us into these, I call them muzzles, before they put those muzzles on us. And I do call them that because they do make people unhappy. It does silence their voices. Try talking to one. How often have you needed to lean closer to someone just to hear them talk when they had something like that on their face? Me, almost every damn time. And why are we doing this? Why are we letting this be done to us? Partially is because, sure, there are these cowards among the common folk. And they will run along with the loudest voice, because that's who they are. which is regrettable. But there are far more people who are sick of this, who are tired of it, who are just constantly tired, who do not want any of this. They just want to do well for their friends, their family, themselves. And then for the general community, if they can, I know that most people will be charitable to others. Even that charity has been taken advantage of, wouldn't you agree? Think I don't need to go into that anymore. People know full well what I'm talking about, for a large part. Yeah, I know I'm exhausted. I'm tired of all of that stuff. And what is the alternative? Well, diminishing technology, of course. I'm not saying throw it all in the garbage can today, tomorrow, no. But start coming up with language that defends you. Take actions that will defend you when even your own friends and family who keep calling you and you just want to be left alone because that's what humans sometimes need. That's what people sometimes require, especially in a society where it's like the lemon, like people are used as lemons squeezed out till the last drop with nary any respect at all received. Oh, you're just here, have a scrap of money. Now you don't need to feel respected. You know, it's quite a projection of these people, right? These greedy scumbags. That they presume that we think just like them. They function purely on monetary gain and that's it. And who knows, a few more base needs, but anything beyond, it's just not there, it seems to me. I'm already going to 20 minutes here. Want to make it a 15-minute video. I guess I'll make this a part 1, because there is far more that needs to be told about tech fatigue. Yeah, let's call this me pinching a few noses. Just to see what people think. And definitely, guys, if you find this agreeable or not, I really want to know more about other people's opinions about this, because I do not see much talk about it in general. And what little resistance there is against this is usually always a kick in the wind. It never goes anywhere. I want to be able to see if there are people out there who really want to take things seriously. And I'm not saying to put a stop to all of it, but to bring it to a human level. And maybe it would also be nice, as a finisher, is that we can keep our children away from it until they're actually adults. Because I'm not sure if anyone else noticed, but I've seen a lot of teenage boys and girls who are absolutely addicted to that electronical crap. Completely cannot put it down for 5 minutes, or they're grabbing for it again. That is unhealthy as can be. And these parents who let their children just get this stuff at the age of, 8, because they're too lazy to play with their children or whatever it's going to be. They should be so ashamed of themselves. That's what I know. I hope that other people will agree with that as well. Because that is something that should be put a definite stop to. I'm not even going to talk about all the trash children are potentially exposed there. I've had young people come to me tell me they were exposed to stuff they never should have at way too young ages. Stuff that gave them nightmares for years. Yeah. This is definitely part 1. Think on it. You all have a good one. and let's see if let's see what you think. Bye bye.